Are you looking for the best graphic cards? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best graphic cards on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX. The lineup of current-gen GPUs all have one thing in common: they're expensive. That makes choosing the best GPU tough, but AMD has a compelling offer this time around. The RX 7900 XTX offers flagship performance at an excellent value amid the inflated landscape of GPU prices right now. For raw performance, the RX 7900 XTX is capable of running the most demanding PC above 60 frames per second (FPS), and in the case of titles like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn, it can even hit around 100 frames per second. It can go toe-to-toe with the RTX 4080 Super, though it has lost some rankings since Nvidia dropped the price of its 4K GPU. In addition, it's smaller, and it calls for standard 8-pin power rather than the 12-pin connector featured on Nvidia's most recent GPUs. That doesn't mean the RX 7900 XTX is without faults. It gets loud and it runs hot, and compared to Nvidia, it lacks prowess in ray tracing games. Even with those caveats, the RX 7900 XTX is an excellent graphics card that can power high-end gaming and demanding titles like Cyberpunk 2077. Number 2. AMD Radeon RX 7600. The RX 7600 isn't a showstopper graphics card, but it's the closest we've seen to a true budget offering this generation. Arriving at $270, the GPU offers above 60 frames per second in demanding titles like Cyberpunk 2077 at 1080p. That's what you want out of a graphics card under $300. The RX 7600 manages to meet, and often exceed, the 60 frames per second mark for demanding titles at 1080p. It also supports AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution (FSR), so it can scale up to higher frame rates in titles like Starfield and Alan Wake 2. The card only really loses out when it comes to ray tracing. AMD cards aren't great when it comes to ray tracing, and this budget-focused offering doesn't change that story. It can handle some lighter ray tracing in games like Resident Evil 4, but you'll need to turn off the feature in anything more demanding. Number 3. Nvidia GeForce RTX 4090. It's the most powerful graphics card you can buy today, hands down. High-end enthusiasts that want the best of the best regardless of price. What we thought of the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4090. The RTX 4090 is a nonsense graphics card, and we mean that in the best way possible. It's $1,600, which is hard to justify spending on any graphics card. But if you want the best of the best, the RTX 4090 is it, and by a significant margin. The previous GPU champion, the RTX 3090 Ti, looks puny by comparison. Based on our testing, the RTX 4090 is nearly 70% faster than the RTX 3090 Ti, and almost 90% faster than the RTX 3090. It's a 4K graphics card that enables features like ray tracing in the most demanding games available today. It's overkill for most people, and it comes with some high demands. You'll need a power supply with a lot of wattage, and you'll need a case to accommodate the card's massive size. It's a reasonable trade-off for high-end enthusiasts, though, especially with features like DLSS 3 on offer. Number 4. AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT. The AMD RX 7900 XT isn't the best graphics card on the market, but it's the best choice for VR. The main reason why is support for DisplayPort 2.1. High-end VR headsets require a ton of bandwidth, and DisplayPort 2.1 is the only connection standard that can deliver. Although the RX 7900 XT doesn't pose a great value, it's no slouch of a GPU. Even at the high resolutions demanded by VR, it can deliver solid frame rates. It's even faster than Nvidia's RTX 4070 Ti, all while costing around the same price. Even better, you can find it readily available at online retailers. Popular graphics cards still sell out immediately, but the RX 7900 XT is available at list price basically everywhere. It's great for VR, but you can also leverage it for 4K gaming on a typical monitor. Number 5. Intel Arc A750. Intel's Arc A750 has gotten much better since launch, now sporting solid DirectX 9 support and much faster drivers. It has always been competitive with Nvidia's RTX 3060 while costing around $100 less, but it looks even more enticing now that Intel has slashed the A750's price to $250. AMD usually is the budget alternative to Nvidia, and although that's still true, Nvidia has been the way to go if you want to turn on ray tracing. The Arc A750 has competitive ray tracing, unlike its AMD counterparts, meaning it can truly go toe-to-toe with the RTX 3060. On top of that, the card also supports Intel's CSS upscaling feature, which uses AI to upscale your games and improve performance. It's not available in a ton of games, but Intel should add support in more titles over the coming months.